So, this year's been a pretty good year for me for biking. I've had a lot of fun, been putting a lot of miles on my new 9er Rip 9 RDO. Did my first enduro race, got first place, beginner, just having a blast. Why do I have all these helmets out though? You know, that's kind of been the one struggle I've had this year is helmets. I've gone through, I'm on my third helmet this year. Only one staying super strong at this point is my trusty Biker Scout helmet. That protects me from Ewoks and, you know, errant trees when I'm driving my speeder bike through the forest moving indoor. So what I wanted to do though today is just kind of walk you through these three helmets that I have, my bicycle helmets, and kind of give you my experience, and maybe that'll help you with picking your next helmet. So let's start with the Giro Chronicle. So I bought this one about the same time I bought my bike, my new bike, and it was between this and the Montero. I chose this because of the price. Montero was $150, this was $100 with a coupon from Backcountry or something like that. I paid maybe $70, $80. So it was a good buy. Of course, I had to personalize it with some Star Warsy stuff. It's kind of funny, that's showing kind of gold through my lens, but it's really black. Kind of weird. But anyway, back to the helmet. This is the cheaper version. It doesn't have full coverage, plastic over the foam, but you know, this helmet works. I really like the rear coverage on it. I like the position of the visor. I mean, you can pop this thing all the way up and can accommodate goggles. I'll throw some Smith goggles on here in a second to show you for you bro-duro types. Helmet's very comfortable. Padding is comfortable. It's got the MIPS liner in it. The dial, you know, you can lock this thing down pretty tight to your head. The one problem I've had with the liner or the pads is, you know, if anything in high humidity heat like we are here, like we have here in North Georgia, they become saturated and it just pours over my face. My sunglasses become useless. But you know, you kind of get that with almost any helmet when it's hot enough. There is one exception to that, and we'll get to that helmet a little bit later, but let me go and throw some goggles on this. Tell you real quick, the reason I'm not using this helmet anymore is I had a crash and had an impact on this side. There's a slight crack on the inside, some compression. I don't think you can really see it with the camera, but it's underneath all here, all this. So this helmet's no longer used. Really like it. I didn't buy another one because, you know, variety is the spice of life. I wanted to try something new. So I got a different helmet. Let me go ahead and throw some goggles on this, and then we'll go to the next helmet. Alright, there's some Smith goggles on it. You can see fits perfectly. Comes across the back. You know, there's no rubber back here. There's a little bit of ridge, but, you know, good helmet straps have rubber on them anyway. It doesn't slip off. So anyway, there it is. So let's move on to the next helmet. Alright, so this is the Bell 6er. I bought this one after I broke the Giro. This helmet retails for $150. Same deal. I won't buy anything unless it's on sale. I got a coupon and paid close to $100. Might have been a little more. Picked this one up. Really like the comfort and feel of it. The styling's kind of dated. I mean, it does just have that one stripe and solid color. The white to me was the best. The other colors seemed just like something you'd find at Walmart. But anyway, looks are half of it. Had to add some Star Wars stuff to it because why not? This does have a little bit of a rubber texture on the back for your goggles. And then of course I added my Biker Scout on the back. On the top here, there is a quick release or breakaway GoPro mount. I find it kind of useless. I was doing a rock garden up in North Carolina and just flying through it, and my GoPro fell off, so I had to stop and go back and get it. I don't know. It's gimmicky, it's neat. The other problem is with the MIPS liner, you get a lot more movement of the helmet, so you throw some weight on top of the helmet, then your GoPro is even more kind of shifty. So anyway, that's that. The reason I'm no longer using this helmet is I broke the MIPS liner. I was riding and caught a branch. You know, it's one of those, you're riding through kind of some low-hanging stuff and you just graze it with your helmet. Do it 100 times, but with this helmet, the branch actually caught underneath the visor and lifted my helmet up. And as you can see here, it separated the MIPS liner from the helmet. These tabs back here are still good, but these in the front, the little nubs broke off. So the MIPS liner wouldn't stay secure. I'm kind of bummed out about it because it wasn't really a crash. I called Bell and they said, yep, it's a crash, we'll give you 30% off. But the thing is, the deals online, I could get the same helmet again for cheaper than what Bell was going to give me in a crash replacement. But anyway, the padding on the inside, I really like it. This they've got this ecstatic channel system, I guess. So what's supposed to happen as you're riding, the sweat collects and comes to a point here, and get the shadow, and then comes to this piece of foam that sticks out away from your forehead and drips off. You know, I've heard other people review it saying it's like a gutter, and it really works. That stuff just drips. You can see the drip right between your eyes, but it misses your face and misses your glasses and works really well. The problem though is MIPS liners. Since the MIPS liner moves, this little thing's held on by some pretty weak Velcro up here. Just about every ride, after a little while, this little tab starts to hang down right in your field of view, and you just got to reach up and stick it back. I thought several times about just putting a dab of glue in there to hold it in place, but never got around to it. Ended up breaking the helmet, and it's now kind of useless. What else can I say about this helmet? Oh, the retention system, man, this thing locks on tight. Like I said, so tight that whenever the helmet got caught, it broke the MIPS liner versus pulling the helmet off my head. This is probably the tightest one. I actually got it so tight that I would get headaches and had to loosen it up a little bit. Never had a helmet fit so tight. Really liked it. Really wanted to like it. Like I said, the styling could be a little more modern, a little cooler, but it's not too bad, especially in the white. So let me throw some goggles on it, and then we'll move on to my last helmet. All right, there it is, goggles on it. Across the back on that rubberized spot. Fits great. All right, last helmet coming up. All right, this is my latest helmet. This is the POC or POC Tectal Race Spin. Just got it yesterday, just did my first ride. It was a short ride. We'll see how long this one lasts. Hope it lasts a long time because I paid quite a bit for it. You know, the Chronicle retails for $100. The Bell was $150. The Bell 6er was $150, and the POC Tectal Race Spin retails for $220. I got a eBay coupon. I got it from Backcountry for $175 shipped. That's the only reason I got it, because that's a lot of money for a helmet that might not last one day with the way I've been riding lately and my luck. So anyway, let's get into this one. As far as comfort goes, there's no MIPS liner. It uses this spin technology, which is, here's a sample of it, this piece of silicone infused padding. So there's a piece of silicone inside, so it's supposed to be that whenever your head moves, it slides on the silicone versus having the MIPS liner. It's really soft, it's moisture wicking, it's really neat. The neat thing about it is it felt like a regular helmet. It didn't feel like the MIPS. You know, the MIPS feels like you're wearing a skull cap with a helmet on it. It's not horrible, but it just has a unique feel. So a little different. The locking system is a lot like all the others. It's a little dial, and it works just fine. Didn't have a problem, didn't shift or anything on my head. The only thing that I've kind of noticed about the helmet that I'm not too sure about is the visor. You know, I like, as I'm riding, to be able to pop the visor up and down as I go, but this uses a little tension screw here to get it where you want it, and then you lock it in place. So if you want it way up, you lock it in place. You know, but as you're riding along and you get into a section where the sun's really bad and you want to drop your visor, you really can't. I mean, I guess you could leave it loose and just let it slide up and down, but you know, on the rough stuff, I expect it to move around. The other thing I noticed about this helmet that I'm really not sure about, I haven't put the goggles on yet, but there's really not a lot of room for goggles under there. So I have a feeling I won't be putting goggles on the front versus sliding around on the back. Which is kind of funny because this has the race model, has this little rubber bungee that is used to hold your goggle straps in place. If I can do it one-handed here. So you would think that if they went to the effort to do this, that they would make a visor that would go up high enough to hold your goggles. Alright, not bashing this helmet by any means. The technology that's in this thing, what I've read about it is pretty amazing. So of course it's got the outer shell, EPS core. The spin is the same, comparable as MIPS. And then it's got these aramid bridges. So I'm going to put the goggles on it and we'll take a look. Alright, so in theory, you can park goggles underneath the visor. But as you can see through the goggle lens there, you can see the edge of the helmet. It's not fully on the helmet. So when I put this on, those lenses are in my field of vision. So I guess the alternative would be to flip them around and throw the goggles on the back. Or maybe on top of the visor, but I have a feeling it'll fall off. Or just throw them in my Camelback or whatever while I'm riding uphill. So there's one downside. It doesn't really park goggles well. Kind of stinks, but for all the other stuff the helmet gives me, I'm really hoping that it performs the way I'd expect for the price tag. Let's see if I can get all this off. Like I said, the technology is supposed to be where it's at. Those aramid bridges in there are built into the EPS foam so that it holds everything together if you have a good crash. So, alright, that's really it. I got the POC, which is my newest helmet. We'll see how long that lasts. The bell, which didn't survive a low-hanging tree limb. And then the Giro Chronicle, which really, out of all of these, like I said, I can't speak for this one. Rode it for the first time today. Comfortable, felt fine. For the price, this Chronicle, you really can't beat it. I mean, it's a nice helmet, and it works. So, would not recommend the Sixer, not at all. So, you're really going to go from extreme budget, under $100, or right at $100, to $220.